What are you going to do about bringing down the rent and things like that in the economy, the rent prices, the housing prices, so that these kids can survive and without their parents' help?
It's not every day that you hear a Trump supporter ask a valid, substantive question to anyone, let alone their beloved leader. But as you will see, Trump could not care less about the struggles this man and millions of other Americans are facing.
And it started because of energy. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We've got to get the energy prices down, and everything else is going to be tumbling down with it, the prices, because what Biden has done to the economy is so horrible, and what he's done to inflation in our country is just very destructive.
Notice how Trump mentioned nothing about capping rent increases, child tax credits to ease the burden of rent on families, wrangling in corporate landlords, investing in affordable housing, funding first-time home buyer programs, or any other tangible policy that would directly help dampen the hot housing market. You see, Trump's disdain for the working class has been one of the defining traits of his political career. But now, let's contrast that with what we heard at a recent Harris-Walz campaign rally in Detroit.
They talk about who you love, where you're from, or how you look. The working class has been left behind, and I don't know how you feel, but I'm f***ing angry. Donald Trump is a scam. And his sidekick isn't any better. J.D. Vance is a vulture. That's right. You know, every time Donald Trump gets a chance, he trashes our union and he trashes the working class. He comes to Michigan. He talks about he's going to bring back the auto industry. Let me tell you something. Donald Trump doesn't know shit about the auto industry. And he doesn't give a damn about the working class in this country.
UAW President Shawn Fain brought the House down before Harris-Walz could even hit the stage, showing the clearest and potentially most important contrast between the two campaigns, the working class versus the corporate class.
Because on one side, you got a billionaire that serves himself and his billionaire buddies. He lies, he cheats, and he steals his way to the top. He's a lapdog for the billionaire class. And on the other side, we got a strong, intelligent, and I'm just going to put it bluntly, a badass woman. A badass woman who stood on the picket line with striking workers.
What I really like about his rhetoric and messaging there is, one, saying Trump is a lapdog for billionaires. I think the crowd really loved that. And the other thing was, look, on the other side, we have a badass woman who stood on the picket line with striking workers. And that really resonated with the people at the rally. And I think it goes a long way to show that this presidential candidate and Vice President Kamala Harris, that, she's about the workers and she wants the working class to have success and enjoy all the freedoms that they deserve.
Donald Trump was president. These workers went on strike to try to save plants that were slated to close, to try to fight for a future. Donald Trump said nothing, and Donald Trump did nothing to help auto workers. You want to know where Kamala Harris was in 2019? She was on the picket line with striking workers. Kamala Harris stands shoulder to shoulder with working class people, not for a picture, not for publicity, but because it's the right thing to do. And it's no secret. Our union was loud and proud about who we supported for vice president, and Tim Walz was at the top of that list. He's one of us. He's a working class guy. He knows working class values. He was a teacher, a coach. That's right, there's teachers in the house. Another group of people who've been left behind. He's a teacher, he's a coach, he's a governor, but best of all, he's a proud union member. And he always puts the working class first. With the Harris-Walz ticket, we have what I call the dynamic duo for democracy. Meanwhile, on the other side, we know who we're dealing with.
I think having a powerful union president like Shawn Fain campaigning for the Democrats is critically important to winning over working class independents and Republicans, because while independents and Republicans in a lot of cases will not agree on certain policy matters, what some of them will agree on is, make sure these employees, these workers are not getting screwed over. Make sure they're not getting taken advantage of by these greedy corporations. And so when you have an individual like Fain backing Harris-Walz, and he's somebody who's about workers' protections, workers' rights, and giving them fair compensation and fair benefits, I think that goes a long way to potentially swaying some of these independents and Republicans who are on the fence, because we know Donald Trump ain't gonna help nobody. As he said, he's only gonna help himself and his rich friends. You can believe the lie all you want that he's about working class, but any sensible person understands he isn't about that. He can tell you one thing, but he's not about that whatsoever. So I'm very skeptical of politicians these days, and I think others would share the same sentiment, because they make a lot of promises when they're campaigning, but once they get elected, they don't fulfill those promises, or they choose not to care about what their base wants, and they ignore them while they're running for office, and they know that enough people will vote for them that they don't have to do all those things that their voters want. Having said all that, I do think this ticket, Harris-Walz, could potentially be a turning point for the Democratic Party to finally listen to their base and move left. Again, I have a lot of skepticism and a lot of reservations about whether that's going to come true, but I do think it's possible. I do think it's possible. And it might be a wake-up call to the old guard that, the voters should be the ones in control of the party's platform, not the other way around. For Rebel HQ, I'm Chris Williamson. We'll see you next time.